Keir Starmer has reshuffled his cabinet, which many are billing as this really big shake-up. But let's be honest, this is little more than rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. And while political journalists and political pundits alike might get excited over the news of a cabinet reshuffle, let's be honest, this changes absolutely nothing. And why? Because the people who sit in Downing Street, the people who sit in Parliament, and the people who sit around the cabinet table aren't really in charge of the country. And here's the truth that some people don't like to admit. The power of the British state really lies in a murky web of quangos, civil servants and unaccountable taxpayer-funded bodies that make the real decisions in Britain without any real democratic oversight or accountability. And until now, no one's been able to really grasp the size and the cost of this quango state. But thanks to new research from the Taxpayers Alliance as part of our Britain's Quangos Uncovered project, we now know the truth. According to our analysis, there are a total of 438 quangos in the UK, spending upwards of £391 billion in public expenditure just in the last year alone. That's more money than we spend on welfare, more money than we spend on health, more money than we spend on defence. If quango spending were a government department, say a Ministry for Quangos, it would be the biggest department by far in terms of spending taxpayers' cash. And it's not just about the cost. It's the amount of people working in them as well. Across Britain's quango state, there are almost 500,000 people employed by quangos. Think about that. That's the population of Liverpool. That's bigger than Cardiff. That's bigger than Newcastle. An army of unaccountable bureaucrats paid for by you. So who's to blame for all of this? Well, predictably the politicians themselves, but some of them are worse than others. Tony Blair, for example, set up 92 quangos while he was Prime Minister, followed by John Major, who set up 55, and David Cameron, who set up 54. Successive governments have talked about rolling back the quango state, cutting red tape, and yet, when you look at it, all of them are just as bad as each other, creating more endless quangos funded by taxpayers with no real accountability at all. And which departments are the worst offenders? Well, the Department for Culture, Media and Sport is on top with 41, Death Row with 38, and the Ministry of Justice with 35. So while journalists obsess about who's in cabinet and who's out of cabinet, the truth is that it doesn't really matter. Because the real government of Britain isn't in Downing Street, it's not in the Houses of Parliament, it's in the wider, unaccountable and wasteful quango state. And until our elected class gets real about this, taxpayers will continue to pay the price and nothing in this country will really change.